thing is that the Inca did not know the concept of, or they didn't know the concept of concrete. But as soon as the Spanish arrived, the Spanish brought with them the knowledge of concrete, because concrete goes back to ancient Rome, etc. So that's one of the things that we look for when we're looking at where you have some kind of mortar or filler. And so this is Inca period. This is clay. It's a mud clay. It's basically everywhere. But it's the clay component makes it water resistant but not waterproof. And even during Inca times, the tops of walls would always have a little roof of some kind, so that diverts the rainwater down away from the wall. But I think most likely what this is Inca period reconstitution, because we find the mortar. If the Spanish had done it, they would use concrete, which we'll see farther down. So I think, again, that when Inca Roca said, build my palace, they came to the ruins of this place, and the workers did rebuild it, but they rebuilt it using the technology that they had. They were able to split stone like this. We'll see better examples down there. They had meteorite material, which is pretty hard, as well as basalt, which is harder than this material. So they would create grooves in here, and then they would take wooden shims or wedges, and they jam, this would be on the ground. They'd put the wedges in, and then they would bathe it with water and keep bathing it with water. And then usually over the course of, maybe even less than 24 hours, what would happen is the wood swells, and because you've created the beginnings of weakness in these pockets, then the stone will pop. And so we'll see a lot of examples of that as we're going down that way. So I think, contrary to what you've heard about the Inca being great masons, they probably weren't. It's not to put them down. The Inca genius was in social organization. It wasn't in construction. So this area here is probably, because it more or less goes to the original top of where it was. So I think this is Inca rebuilding of incredibly ancient palace or whatever built by one of the super cultures that preceded the Inca, of which there were most likely two, because we find two very distinct styles of building. The polygonal is one, and the coricacha will be an example of the other, where the wall is almost perfectly flat, and they like to follow straight lines reasonably well. So it's unlikely that the builders of this style and the builders of that style were the same people. This and Sacsayhuaman are the classics of this example, called polygonal building, but also at Ollantaytambo we'll see other things. And as the tour progresses, you'll have increased knowledge of this stuff, and you'll start to see this stuff yourself and be pointing it out. And that's the fun of a tour like this. It's your exploration of the site and your insights that happen there.
So this rock is obviously extremely hard, and you can just see the precision here of how it's joined together. It has a kind of puffy look about it. You get exactly the same thing in different parts of the world. You get it in Egypt, you even get it in Italy, and even Saudi Arabia, and there's elements of it in Mexico, and even Stonehenge has qualities like this when you look carefully at the shape of the stones. So this is like a unique style that goes deep into prehistory to certain parts of the world.
So this is olivine basalt?
Yeah, it looks maybe it's olivine, but yeah, I'll let you know for sure.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I don't want to without the X-ray diffraction.
Okay, because some people call it andesite, which is probably a generic term.
Yeah, I think it's got more olivine than we call it a granite or andesite.
So it's more of a granite?
A granite has more muscovite
and larger crystals.
Larger crystals, obviously. Yeah, this is sort of intermediate because you can see some of the crystals.
Okay.
You can even see some of the actual ones here, but yeah, it's fine grain. I don't, not quite granite like you see in your countertop Oswald.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure the pyroxene is when you look at the composition triangle, you know, these things. There's when you.
What you're looking at is you're looking at the same. The original megalithic is moving up, and then it's not only the shape of the stone that changes, the scale goes down, and it goes down to, you know, cubes from individual polygonal design to cubes of a different material. So you're going, you know, this again comes from 30 kilometers away, that comes from 50 kilometers away. And that obviously is repair work. The original builders wouldn't start with one material and then suddenly shift gears like that and make the composition and material different unless it was continuous throughout the building, which it isn't. They were using Gigantians, whatever they had, in order to do replacement and to make sure that this building was ready for Inca Roca to live in. And the famous 12-sided stone is down this way.
So you just get slabs of stone, megalithic, all over Cusco, including these steps here that are just opposite the famous 12-sided stone.
You see how the composition is a lot smaller? But the tightness of the joinery, again, you can't fit a human hair in between. And this wall has an incline of 5 degrees, and that is the standard in Cusco. The ancient builders always used 4 to 5 degrees as their incline, again, probably for not only earthquake proofing, but as we get down to the Coricancha, the tight is so fit, and it's probable that the reasoning behind not using mortar is that these buildings were used for vibrational purposes of some kind. So the building had to vibrate as if it was a single stone, and that's why they were adamant about the tightness of fit. You can see that this palace originally went from that corner all the way down to where that white van just turned. And one block by one block by one block.
So we're inside the Tiwanaku Museum in La Paz. This is the first time it's been open in a long time. I've been wanting to come here for years. It's got some of the most impressive artifacts from Tiwanaku, even some elongated skulls. You can just see this stone sphere behind me, which looks like one of the strange platonic solids found in Scotland. The fact that they're here at Tiwanaku or in the Lake Titicaca area absolutely fascinates me, because it brings another connection between Tiwanaku and this Lake Titicaca area and Europe, because not only do we have Caucasian looking features on many of the statues, but even the alignments, the astronomical alignments of some of the sites, including Tiwanaku, and the fact that there were 99 stones around the perimeter of Tiwanaku, which also you find at Avebury. So we're going to keep researching. We're going to go to Tiwanaku and Pumapunku tomorrow, see what else we can find. This is a very interesting stone behind me. It's like a cube and it's got spiral carvings on it, which is something we find also at the Tiwanaku site, as well as obviously all over Europe, Malta, New Zealand and many other places. So it's very intriguing that they have these precision carved spirals here and all over the world. Is there a global connection? But all I can say is that I've seen some artifacts here, including the two rock faces of these very Caucasian looking beings, as well as a very unusual kind of shaped polygon which looks like it's from Scotland. It's like one of the stone spheres found in the Scottish stone circle. So some very unusual things here, and that you can just see that there are connections with other parts of the world. I look at things from a sort of global perspective. I just can't help it. I become like an obsessed megalithomaniac traveller, and I get all around the world at any opportunity, on cruises, boats, balloons, anything you like. These are some photos of these sort of serpents, which I keep finding all over the world. Only part of this talk is going to cover this idea that there was like some kind of serpent elite. What I'm interested in is what that means. I believe it has some connection with earth energies, with ley lines, with grids and things like this, as well as the rising of the Kundalini and possibly shamanic and psychedelic things as well.